Have you ever replayed a conversation in your mind, wondering what you should have said, or waited for an explanation that never came? Many people stay stuck not because they're weak, but because they're searching for closure. They want answers, validation, a final moment that makes the pain make sense. But here's a quiet truth most people don't realize. Healing begins when you stop chasing closure. Not because closure doesn't matter, but because your peace should never depend on someone else's ability to explain themselves. Have you ever caught yourself thinking this way? When something ends without explanation, the mind doesn't simply move on. It circles the moment again and again, replaying conversations, tone, silence, and small details that suddenly feel important. You may find yourself wondering what you missed, what you should have done differently, or why the other person couldn't just be honest. This kind of pain is exhausting because it doesn't have a clear shape. It lives in unanswered questions. The mind wants meaning, and when it doesn't receive it, it creates its own stories. But those stories are rarely kind. They often turn inward, quietly attacking your confidence and sense of worth. The truth is, not every ending comes with an explanation that brings relief. Some experiences are meant to teach you through awareness, not words. What matters most is not what was said or left unsaid, but what the experience revealed about your needs, your boundaries, and the kind of treatment you will no longer accept. Healing begins when you stop demanding clarity from people who are unable or unwilling to provide it. Many people believe that closure will finally calm their thoughts, but the constant waiting often deepens the wound instead of healing it. Each day spent hoping for a message, an apology, or an explanation keeps your nervous system in a state of tension. Your peace becomes conditional, dependent on someone else's response. Without realizing it, you give away emotional control. The longer this continues, the harder it becomes to move forward, because your attention remains tied to the past. True relief doesn't come from answers that may never arrive. It comes from deciding that your well-being matters more than unfinished conversations. When you stop chasing closure, your mind slowly releases its grip, and space opens for emotional healing, stress relief, and a quieter, steadier sense of inner peace. There are moments when silence from others feels more painful than harsh words. Being ignored, dismissed, or left without acknowledgement can quietly erode self-respect, especially when you gave effort, honesty, or loyalty. At work, in friendships, or in important life situations, you may question your value when someone walks away without explanation. But silence often communicates more than people realize. When someone consistently avoids accountability or clarity, it reflects their limits, not your worth. Chasing them for answers can unintentionally lower your standards and place your dignity in their hands. Self-respect begins when you decide that your emotional safety matters more than being understood by someone who cannot meet you with honesty. Sometimes the absence of an explanation is not confusion. It is information. Choosing distance in those moments is not rejection of the past, but protection of your future. As you stop chasing what hurts, you begin to feel a quiet strength return, grounded in inner peace rather than external validation. Overthinking often disguises itself as problem solving, but in reality it keeps the nervous system locked in a loop of stress. The mind revisits the same moments, searching for certainty, control, or reassurance that no longer exists. This constant mental replay drains energy and delays emotional healing. Instead of providing clarity, overthinking amplifies fear and self-doubt. The mind pulls you backward when what you need most is stability in the present. Gentle discipline becomes an anchor here, creating simple routines, limiting mental replays, and redirecting focus to what you can control allows the body to calm down. As the mind settles, stress relief naturally follows. You begin to realize that not every thought deserves attention, and not every question needs an answer. Peace grows when you choose grounded awareness over endless mental noise. Many people wait for someone else to acknowledge the pain before they allow themselves to heal. They hope for a message, an apology, or a moment of understanding that validates what they went through. But this waiting quietly keeps them emotionally tied to the past. When your healing depends on another person's awareness, your peace remains out of reach. The truth is, closure does not have to be granted. It can be created. You can name what hurt, accept what was missing, and decide what you deserve moving forward. Writing your own ending does not erase the experience, but it gives it boundaries. You stop reliving it and start learning from it. This shift is powerful because it returns authority to you. Healing becomes an internal process rather than a negotiation with someone else's behavior. Rejection and loss often feel deeply personal, even when they are not. The mind searches for reasons, assuming that if you could just understand why, the pain would lessen. But growth rarely comes from explanations alone. It comes from acceptance. Acceptance does not mean approving what happened or pretending it didn't matter. It means acknowledging reality without resisting it. When you stop fighting the past, your emotional energy becomes available for the present. You learn to say quietly and honestly that this happened and you are still standing. In that acceptance, emotional healing deepens, stress begins to soften, and inner peace slowly replaces the need for answers. When emotions feel unstable, daily life often loses its structure. Without routine, the mind drifts back to what hurt, and small tasks begin to feel overwhelming. Healing can feel uncertain when every day depends on mood. This is where discipline becomes a form of care rather than pressure. Simple, consistent habits create stability when emotions fluctuate. Waking up at a regular time, taking care of your body, setting limits on mental replay, and practicing gratitude may seem small, but they quietly rebuild trust in yourself. Discipline does not mean forcing happiness or suppressing pain. It means showing up for yourself even when motivation is low. Over time, these steady actions calm the nervous system and provide stress relief. You begin to feel grounded again, not because life is perfect, but because you are reliable to yourself. This reliability restores confidence and supports emotional healing without depending on external circumstances. Many people hesitate to move on because they feel they need permission, understanding, or agreement from others. They worry that healing too soon means the experience did not matter or that they are being unfair. But life continues whether or not conversations are resolved. You are allowed to grow beyond moments that once shaped you. Moving forward does not invalidate what you felt. It honors your capacity to heal. When you choose peace over justification, your energy shifts away from the past and toward the future. This is where healing begins, when you stop chasing closure and allow yourself to step into inner peace without waiting for approval. Remember this gently. Healing begins when you stop chasing closure. Not because your pain wasn't real, but because your future deserves clarity, calm, and strength. You don't need every answer to move forward. You need self-trust, patience, and the courage to choose peace. Share your thoughts below. How are you healing today? Your story might help someone else find their way forward.